Hey, Andy Petranek here, and welcome back. Thanks for being here. I'm going to talk today about one of the most common struggles I see, especially with thoughtful, successful people who care about their spouse and their relationship and their stuff going on at home. Especially when they're feeling disconnected and it's not working the way they want to, despite how much effort they're putting in. They're doing the work, they're reading the books, they're trying to communicate better, and yet something still feels off and isn't working. It's very clear that something's not working. I want to talk about something subtle that almost nobody sees when they're doing it until maybe later when they slow down and take a deeper look. It feels reasonable what their actions, what they're doing, feels justified. And it quietly makes connection harder, not easier. And it's something that I've struggled with in my relationship as well. So the real impetus for this video came about because of a conversation I was having with a client. And this is someone who is struggling with their own happiness, generally speaking. Some of it is in their relationship, and some of it is just in life in general. And one of the things that has come up repeatedly is how badly she wants to feel better, how badly she wants to be more connected, how badly she wants to be more at ease. But as we were laying things out in this particular session, she had an entire list of expectations that she hadn't really put together in the way that I reflected back to her. They were kind of rules that involved her husband doing things a certain way that enabled her to feel okay. So in other words, for her to be happy, he needed to do this. If he would just stop doing this, X, Y, and Z, if he would finally pause long enough to understand, if he would just ask me questions, if he would show up caring about some of the things that I care about, then, and what she wasn't including was a then. And the then is, then I can be okay, or then I can be happy. They didn't feel like demands. They weren't even out in the world. It wasn't like she was demanding these things of her husband, but they were running in the background. They felt reasonable. They didn't feel hard. And they didn't require a whole heck of a lot. These are little things like the clothes he wears, or the styling of his hair, or the frequency that he watches television. And every single one of these rules put her capacity to be happy outside of herself. If only these things were different, and these things were all the responsibility of him doing something different, then she could be happy. And I'm using happy as a general term. You could also put in there peaceful, or joy, or experience. She could experience joy, or she could experience contentment. In other words, her internal state was dependent on someone else's behavior. Now, as we stayed with this, something else became really clear. Her feelings weren't about the situation, weren't actually coming from the things her husband was doing or not doing. They were coming from her thinking about her relationship with the things he wasn't doing, her judgments about the things he wasn't doing, and what those meant about her. Judging herself as trapped, feeling unworthy, judging herself for not setting clear boundaries, judging herself for sticking around in situations where she felt like she shouldn't, tolerating things and judging herself for tolerating things that, from this perspective, she doesn't think she should have. Feeling like she should be beyond this by now. They've been married long enough. These shouldn't be upsetting her. See, it's not the things that were upsetting. If she was just feeling trapped or feeling behind or feeling unworthy, that's one thing. But she was judging herself for feeling trapped or feeling unworthy or feeling behind, as if that was wrong. She was giving it meaning. She was giving her feelings, which are normal, which are okay. Look, we're human beings. We're here to experience the cornucopia of emotions, the rainbow of emotions, not just to feel the good ones. I mean, what is good without bad? What is up without down? What is left without right? What is yin without yang? They require each other. So her relationship with these issues and with her own self-judgment of her issues was causing her to think that they were a problem that needed fixing. And this relates directly and connects directly to what I've been talking about lately in my previous videos. When our happiness feels like it's conditional on someone, especially on someone else, fixing feels necessary. Fixing the relationship, fixing her husband, fixing her rules, herself, adjusting her rules. Fixing creates pressure. Fixing creates distance. Fixing creates a mindset that something is wrong here, that needs to be fixed. You know, a problem requires a solution in order to actually be a problem. A solution requires a problem in order for the solution to exist. So as long as she was relating to her own predicament and judging herself and her wrongness for her husband's, for her inability to be more at peace with what her husband was doing, she was creating a problem that needed a solution. And it was all wrapped in good intentions. It's all in good intentions. She loves her husband very much. See, what happens in this kind of situation is love becomes transactional, conditional. You might notice this in your own life if you listen for certain thoughts. Things like, I'd be happier if. It would be better if they would just. I wish they would stop. If they really cared, they would. You know, for me in my relationship, it looks like being on time, being present when we're together as opposed to distracted. I wish she would just be more present. I wish she would just be on time. I wish she would just, and she's got her whole list of mine for me. I wish he would be a little bit neater. I wish he would put his things away. in the house. And see, when phrased that way, it seems very innocent. It's not a big deal. It's only when we look at them as problems that need fixing, as opposed to clues. Clues where our happiness has been hijacked, where responsibility for our okayness, like I'm having a problem because you have done something that I don't like. Not I'm having a problem that is my responsibility, and I'm not going to let it affect my okayness in this situation, but I'm going to judge myself as incapable of doing something about it, a feeling of helpless, unless you do something to change your behavior. See, responsibility isn't about blaming yourself. There's no fault in responsibility. It's not like it's the other person's fault. When you take responsibility, you gain choice. I'm going to say that again. When you take responsibility, you regain choice. You regain options. You regain control. You can do something about it. See, it's from that place that love shows up neutrally and naturally. Not as effort, not as strategy, but as presence. See, the moment you stop making your happiness dependent upon someone else's behavior, something fundamental changes. You move from reacting to life to being at cause for your life. And when you're at cause, you have the ability to actually do something. You're not stuck. From that place, you get to show up differently. You've got choice, you've got freedom, and crazily enough, more love. Because there's an ease, there's a grace, there's a freedom. My okayness is not dependent upon my wife doing anything or not doing anything. I'm not making her actions mean something about the relationship or mean something about me. It's really the greatest gift you can give another person that you're in relationship with. The gift of not needing them to do or be anything for you. Not that you don't want it. You'll get more of it. You'll get it in droves, but not needing it. Not judging them for not doing it, and not judging yourself for being a person that's not deserving of it. This is when relationships stop feeling like work, and again, they start feeling like connection. I'm going to leave it there for today, and I'll be back next time with another video on another topic, and we'll see you then.